It's alive!
To make them think that it's reality.
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
Welcome in, all you Q-coders, here for another Dream-isode. So happy to have you guys listening to us for these. They are getting weirder and weirder every freaking week. It's just progressing.
Are they getting weirder, or are they getting...
They're getting just the same weirdness, but
They've plateaued.
since we just keep reading them, it just seems like it's getting more weird. But yes, we are on to Dream-isode number 12 today. That's 12 dreams.
That's what you call the dirty dozen.
12 dreams. So let's just kind of, we don't have to recap them all, but let's just kind of recap some of them. We had one where you were fighting off repelling goblins from your house. You went
and
to
I didn't get tickets to my own play.
Get tickets to your home
my
play.
own house.
You did an underwater sea adventure to help bring some boat to the surface.
I met a spy's daughter.
You fought a tsunami. You fought a pandemic.
Yeah.
Zombies
in space.
I don't think I really fought the tsunami.
Well,
I was involved with the tsunami.
You were involved in running from it, and
I did fight a evil governmental regime.
You fought that. You had a yelling match with a little person at a train station where you threatened to bring in the Disney cops.
I was involved in the gardening craze.
That was the most recent one. So
as I was also a contestant on a reality show.
So we've gone and covered quite a few things, and you're sitting there thinking, like, what else
could he possibly
do? Well,
maybe he could dream about being in a karate class. Nope, that's already been done.
Already been done. But you know what hasn't been done so far? Floating on Mylar balloons. Oh, wait, no, you did that one too. No, what hasn't been done is a haunted house. Oh. And that is what we're talking about today. The title to this dream is called Haunted Mother-in-Law Apartment. So volume or Dream-isode number 12, Haunted Mother-in-Law Apartment. Here we go.
No exclamation point?
No exclamation on that one.
See?
Just normal. Just a normal haunted mother-in-law apartment.
Not extreme.
Not extreme. I finish up another long day of high school and meet up with my friend Travis. That's me. Outside of the school because I give him a ride home each day. We both get into a silver 1994 Crown Vic that I borrowed from my dad. And
we literally had
literally had that
car when I was in high school.
He had many versions of the Crown Vic. As my car was in the shop being fixed, which probably was because somebody broke into it and stole all your CDs.
Probably. And every time I'd upgrade and they'd break into it again.
Yeah, it's because you were putting so much money into your freaking subwoofer. I remember you just like, man, check out this tweeter. Look at this tweeter and these subs, man. You can just fill it.
The tweeters were for the highs, the subs were for the lows.
He was so into, just the subs in the back. It was just so overwhelming.
Well, some people out there, they really like the ported boxes to put subwoofers in. I was much more of a fan of the sealed because that was the crisp booms. I didn't like the
Oh, with like the fuzzy buzzies.
Yeah, I like the fuzzy buttons. And you had to have plenty of amps flowing through there so that they could pull the magnet.
But because
had
you
enough power to pull
because
it
you
back.
took so much time to get that whole setup, it was stolen time and time again.
No, because people were like, I like me some crisp bass.
What you needed
It's
to
all
do was
about
you
that
needed
bass,
to
about
just
that
like
bass.
turn it down when you got into the apartment complex that you were living at the time, because
I did. They followed me. They saw me like coming from miles away, and they would probably follow me.
That was back when, just little side note, we're kind of getting off track, but that was when he had a Jeep, and I remember when he bought this Jeep that he tried to tell me some story that there is a guide in the Jeep that has rules for Jeep owners, and one of those is that when you see another Jeep owner, you must wave.
No, you must give them the right of way too. Like you must like allow them if they're
Okay, so
pulling
if there
out.
are two Jeeps meeting,
Okay, right away was the wrong word. If you're driving down the street and a Jeep is trying to pull out of like a restaurant or whatever,
you
right?
let them go.
You have to let them go, is what I told Trav. I told him there was an official Jeep handbook that I had to abide by.
I didn't believe it.
He believed it.
I did not.
He's like, really?
No.
Because I think there's a couple times when I'd be driving and I'd forget about it, and he'd be like, "Oh, you got to slow down. There's a Jeep coming out."
Never did that.
It's the official Jeep.
No, in
handbook.
fact, I think I would watch him, and as soon as like Jeeps would pass and he wouldn't wave, I'd be like, "Where were you on that one?" That Jeep guy is probably going to report you to the Jeep authorities. So, anyway, we drive the behemoth out of the school parking lot and toward Trav's mom's house. Once we pull up to his mom's house, I park the car out front, but on the other side of the street. We get out of the car and walk into the house. This is really good description. Trav's mom.
So I pulled up and I parked on the
Other
opposite
side
of the street.
And then we got out and we walked across the street and into the house. Trav's mom greets us at the door. Okay. I don't know. And we eventually make our way down to Trav's bedroom. Trav's room is dark and full of 3D puzzles he built. This is a huge, this was definitely true at one point in time. If we were in high school and you walked into my room, I had so many 3D puzzles. So there wasn't much room to get too comfortable. Why are we trying to get too comfortable? I'm not really liking where this is going.
We just I guess you wanted to hang out, and I was just trying to hey, Trav. I'll just sit here on this little corner of the bed that's not covered in 3D puzzles.
I end up sitting on the corner of Trav's bed while he sits on the other side. Okay.
See, at least there's a bed between us.
This is a super exciting story so far. After a couple of hours of just talking and chilling in Trav's room, I get a call on my cell, which cells didn't really, they existed, but not for
They were
high
very
school.
early.
I answer the call, and it's my wife asking me what time I'll be home so that we can eat dinner together.
You're in high school?
Yep.
And married.
You see, I'm not coming home, Liz, because I'm in high school and I want to hang out at Trav's house. I'm taking a look at all of his 3D puzzles. They're super sweet.
He showed me how to build them.
You see, I know that we just got done with a day of high school and that we drove back to Trav's mom's house and hung out in his bedroom, but we are also the age we are currently in real life, which is in our 30s. This is sad. 30-year-old high schoolers. I tell Trav that I need to go home and spend some time with my family. Trav throws a little fit and starts whining about how he's jealous that I never spend enough time with him and how I always go running off every time my wife calls. I tell him that that's just part of being married and that he'll understand someday when he's married. Thanks, Danny.
Danny, when are you going to finally leave her from me? You keep saying you will.
We're sitting here on my bed, opposite corners, chilling, talking, relaxing, all
Checking
cool.
out my 3D puzzles.
And as soon as your wife calls, you're just up and gone. I just like how he also gives me like some advice leaving. Number one, I don't think I would have ever thrown a fit. But then he just turns, it's like he gets to my door and turns around. He's like, you know what, Trav? You'll understand one day when you two are married. All right, well, see you later.
Well, we already established in my life, day in a life in a musical episode, that when I have to leave and you're not happy about it.
He seems to think that I throw fits every time he leaves. I don't think I've ever once thrown a fit. I'm not saying like, you know.
What was the song?
I wanted to sound bad that I'm like.
That song
I wish you
that I
would
had
leave.
in there.
What song?
Because all I can think of in my head right now is
It's been a long day
without you, my friend.
But see that in that musical, you were singing that to me.
Because you were sad that I was leaving to go see my wife. So I mean,
Also,
subconsciously, I
In
guess
all
there
of
was a
these
reason.
things, I never have a family of my own. I never have a wife. I never have children. Like I'm just by myself, and this is why I'm so sad every time he leaves because I can't
you
stand
you
being
live
by
at your-
myself.
You live at your mom's house.
Just
Still.
I walk out to get into the Crown Vic when I notice the interior dome lights are on. This gets me a little nervous, and as I walk up closer to the car, I can see that the driver's side door is slightly ajar. I quickly pull the door open the rest of the way, and to my horror, I see that the worst had happened. The car had been broken into, and everything of value inside the car was stolen. The stereo had been completely removed from the dash. My wallet that had $60 in cash in it was missing.
For a high schooler, that is a lot of money.
The thieves had gotten
Not for
into
a high
the
schooler who
trunk.
has a whole family to support.
That's true. The thieves have gotten into the trunk by pulling a section of the back seat down. Also, strangely enough, each seat in the car was cut open with a knife, exposing the fluffy interior.
What, like they're looking
of the
for
seats
hidden drugs in the...
to the naked eye. I think that's where it's going. I'm not sure. I recall a little bit of this.
I feel like you read that whole part like very robotically. Just like the way you... The stereo was completely removed from the dash. My wallet with $60 in it was stolen.
Well, you did rhyme.
Did I?
So the stereo had been completely removed from the dash. My wallet that had $60 in cash was missing. See, you add words that you don't need to. My wallet that had $60 in cash in it was missing. You could just say that had $60 in cash. We know that the $60 was in the wallet. Otherwise, you wouldn't be throwing a fit that your wallet was gone. You didn't have to let us know that it was also... You know that $60? It was also in it.
I like to be very thorough in my explanations so that there is no, like, him in
Question.
behind.
Yeah, there's just no question about where the $60 was. It was in it. I quickly glanced around to see if any windows were broken or to see if I could identify any other points of entry. But alas, I couldn't. I couldn't find anything out of the ordinary in that regard. It then sinks in that that either Trav or I must have left the doors unlocked, and the thieves had zero barriers of resistance when ripping me off. This is where it pisses me off. Because you do this in real life. Something you do to your father's car ends up getting put on me. And I think you know what I'm talking about. There is a.
I mean,
We might have talked about
if you
this.
bent a door back.
Hey, you're jumping. You're jumping ahead. We're in your dad's Crown Vic. And maybe you've heard this. I don't know, but
I would have been, I guess.
I know what
16
happened.
barely.
yeah, you know. Well, I'm sure you do because your dad still hasn't let it go. Mark. I get out. I think he even had me get out. Like, hey, can you throw this in the garbage? So I get out and I go and throw something. He's like, now's a good time to back up. The door's open because I'm just thinking about I'm throwing this away. I'm getting right back in the car. He's backing up already. Apparently doesn't see the car door open. Doesn't see the carport pole. Doesn't see both of them hitting. And doesn't see the fact that his door is now completely bent backwards. Fast forward 15 years later. I'm in a college class at the University of Phoenix. Your dad just happens to be my instructor. We're going around the class introducing ourselves. He just has to bring that up. I'm like, hi, I'm Travis. And he's like, you guys probably don't know this. Yeah, they didn't know it, but you guys probably don't know this, but I've known Travis pretty much most of his life, and he owes me a car door. It's my fault I threw something away in the garbage, and this douche nut decides to back up. I owe him a car door because the thing is you know that when he's talking to him later, Trav just left it open. He should have closed it. So that's why when I read this in this dream, I'm in my house, down in my freaking room sulking because Danny left me.
Every time you talk about this story, I always think of the, is it Tommy Boy or is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they did the same
He
thing.
backs up, bends the whole car
He goes,
door,
"What'd you do?"
and then he tries
it
to
back.
hide it by bending it back and shutting it, and then he comes to open the door and it just falls off. He's like, "What'd you do?"
That was a pretty spot on.
What'd you do?
Representation of what happened. There's just a lot of things that Trav. I remember, wasn't it you and your buddies, or Tracy and her buddies that stole a roadblock thing, and then they brought it home and they stuck it in the back of Trav's car. Of his truck.
Okay, somebody. So I was parked with my little truck at your guys' house. Somebody put. I think it was Tracy. I don't think it was
No,
you.
it wasn't me.
I think it was Tracy and maybe her friends found one of those road barricades.
Oh, okay.
But the ones that stand kind of
Yeah, the
on a
ones that-
tri, not a tri,
Yeah.
but they fold out, kind of like
Yeah.
an easel.
Yeah, so
or
it's like a
something.
big one. It's not just like a cone.
Yeah.
They put that in the back of my car.
With the little reflective lights on
we
top.
know what you're talking.
Yeah.
So I don't want to drive with it. I don't know where it came from. So I'm thinking I'm funny, and I just pull it out and I set it on your doorstep. Your dad is like, this is a federal offense. and now I'm the one that is getting in trouble because it's there on your property. I'm like, it was in my truck. Somebody put it in my truck. I didn't do it.
Because I know he thought you were the one that stole it because something happened later that night or the next day or something like that. And my dad was yelling at me and he's like, and your little twerp friend Trav is going out in the middle of the night stealing
Who does he think I am? If you're listening to this, Mark, I didn't steal it. It was just in the back of my truck. But the thing is that I bet you just let him do it. He didn't stick up for me. He's just like, yeah, I know, Dad. I don't even know why he's stealing that stuff.
He's like a little criminal.
So I read this. He's like, Trav or I must have, but he throws me first. He's like especially. I mean, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but he probably goes and talks to your dad. And he's like, Trav left the door open and somebody stole all your stuff.
You know this digs deep into Trav's psyche because it took one sentence to bring up 10-minute history lesson on how he feels about being blamed.
There's just a lot that I felt like I was blamed for in our youth. That your dad thought I was a completely different person than I really was because none of you would say anything. It's just yeah, Dad, I don't know. How about the time? I mean, thank you for not ratting me out, but we'd be in high school, okay? We'd be in Japanese class, and the dude's like, and my fault for being naive, okay? I mean, we're super bored. Japanese was the most boring class ever. But he's like, hey, you're pretty good at writing. You think, he showed me your dad's signature, and he's like, you think you could, copy that? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm just doodling. I'm doing it on various different, I did it multiple times on the same piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's not and just sideways or whatever.
Yeah.
Dumb shit here decides to rip it off and write his own note that he's now excused and his father has excused him. And he doesn't say anything. I don't even know. All of a sudden, he gets suspended or whatever. And your dad knows, and he's all mad. And I know he's like, oh, Trav did it. As if yeah. He comes to me and says, hey, can you forge the signature so I can get out of class? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. Totally manipulated me.
I know. Well, I got called into the office because that was when they confronted me about whether or not I was on drugs. And I wasn't. But because I'd been missing a lot of school. And then she pulled out, the whole stack of excuse papers that
he made me write, apparently.
And then
Wait, did you?
Mom
Because
and
you
Dad
wrote
were
it
there.
over and
See,
over.
yeah, I just
did. You
took-
just save all of those and use?
Pretty much. And
No.
I just took pride in
Okay,
the fact
this
that I
is-
was able to, that I had good handwriting. In my head, I'm thinking, this is pretty good. I'm doing really good here.
No, I had Trav do that a couple different times on different pieces of paper. But
I should have known.
my dad went through the stack
Very
of
good, Trav.
my dad went through the stack of papers.
Let me give you another piece of paper here.
And he's like, it's why are all these papers not normal sized? And some of these signatures aren't even mine. And then that's when the counselor said, all right, Dan, tell me who it is that was signing those papers for you. And you won't be in as much trouble. And I said, I will not rat them out.
Well, because you knew that I would freaking murder you. Because if somebody came up to me and all of a sudden I was suspended for this, I would have been like, what? What are you talking about? I have no recollection of any of this. I remember writing it down, but I didn't know it was for a letter. And I would have freaking taken that. I would have fought that to the very end.
So
How'd they know it wasn't
but because I told them I wouldn't rat that person out, they said, all right, you're going to get maximum punishment. And I was like, all right. And I had to do 200 hours of community service. And then I went over to Woods Cross High School and I helped them with one of their plays over there.
Does that count it? Did
And
that
then
count?
I got the teacher over there to sign me off 200 hours really quick. I probably only put in 5 or 6 hours. So, and I think it was fast enough that I actually had to wait to turn in the paper because I was like, I don't even think it's been 200 hours.
It's in real time.
Such a freaking liar. So much lying was done. Okay, we got to move on. But that was my childhood. I was always getting framed for stuff.
You didn't even know it.
So Trav or I must have left the doors unlocked, and the thieves had zero barriers of resistance. Zero barriers. And when ripping me off. I get into
Trav's just like pissed now.
This whole time he's wanted to be in a dream, and now he's irritated.
I get into the car and feel really bad about what happened. As I pull away, I call my dad to apologize and give him the bad news. After filling him in on the tragic debacle, I ask him if he had anything hidden in the car. Dad, did you have anything, hiding in there? He asks me why. I tell him that it's weird, but the robbers had cut open each seat in the car as if they were looking for something. I then ask him if he was hiding drugs in the car. Drugs? Dad, such as crystal meth or something. My dad is quiet for a few seconds and responds with a simple, no. I'm not sure if I buy it, though, but decide not to push the issue any further. Because honestly, if my dad is doing meth, I don't want to bug him anyway.
Or if he's like a drug kingpin.
Yeah.
I don't want to be off.
Like Breaking Bad.
Now, say my name. Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
I turn into, what do they call them in mafia people? Like snitches.
Snitches get stitches. Okay.
Rats?
Rats. After
Teddy Two-Face or something like.
Okay. Is that what they call him? Is that what they call him in the mafia? Teddy Two-Face. After getting off the phone with my dad, I proceed to drive to the local R.C. Willey store to meet up with my son Kai. That's where we like to meet. I had told him that I would buy him a new TV for his room and knew that they were having a really good sale at R.C. Willey.
See, even in high school, I was like a good dad.
Once I find Kai, I tell him that we are going to head down to the basement because that's where all the best deals are. We make our way down there, and I can see that this basement looks more like a basement that belongs to a completely finished home, as it's fairly sparse when it comes to furniture. There is beige carpet, a couple of bedrooms, and a bathroom off the main room. On the far end, On the far end of the main living space was a TV sitting on a stand about 2 feet off the ground. I go over and look at it. As I'm crawling around on the carpet trying to see the specs on the TV, my hand touches something wet. I look down at where my palm had just been to see a sick yellow spot of pee on the carpet.
That is gross.
These are just horrible memories of all your dogs pissing on the freaking floor.
I hated it.
I remember those damn blue, like, little friggin' piss pads that you guys had all over your house. And for some reason, in my head, so funny when Steve had to pick him up. I don't know why. When your brother had to just go and clean him up, like, I don't know. It was just so, like, you could tell that he was just did not want to do it. But it was his chore.
Would you want to?
No, but it's
They're
just
basically like diapers that are just like pressed out into a big sheet. And then they just sit there and they soak everything up.
I think people know what they are.
Do they still have those?
Yes, they still have them.
I thought that was like a 90s thing.
Angry, I get up and say, "What kind of place is this?" And proceed to the bathroom to wash my hands. Once I finish in the bathroom, I came out and let Kai know that we will not be purchasing anything on this floor and directed him to head upstairs to the second level. To the second level!
I don't care how cheap these TVs are down here. they're sick.
I'm sure we can find a good deal for him on the second floor. I get off the escalator on the second floor and start walking toward the electronics section. There's like an electronics section on every floor. I look back and see Kai heading up to the next bank of escalators toward the third floor. Where are you going? I ask. Dad, I want a TV from the third floor. He responds, no way, I say.
That rhymed too. I didn't even know. No way, I say.
Kai, the televisions on the third floor are way too expensive. I can only afford to get you one on the second floor. We're second floor TV people. Okay. We can't go beyond the second floor. I'm still in high school.
How much do you think I make?
And didn't you just get robbed for $60?
Yeah, he's at $60 less. I tell him that, I understand this, but the televisions on the second floor are plenty nice for a boy your age. And to have in your bedroom to play video games on.
I think you skipped the whole section.
I didn't. Oh, Kai whines a bit. Yeah. No. Oh, yes, he did. Kai whines a bit, saying that the televisions on the third floor are way cooler and have way more features. I tell him, I understand this, but the televisions on the second floor are plenty nice for a boy his age and to have in their bedroom to play video games on. Again, another additional word. Kai then... Oh, God. Kai then acquiesces.
Acquiesces?
Kai then acquiesces and heads back down to the second floor to look... What the
Why are you so mad about that
Why
word?
do you have to use a word? I have to use acquiesces. Is that just agreed?
Yeah, it just means that he's like, okay, fine. He like gave in and then
He's trying to be like this like fancy author writer. He's using a thesaurus.
whatever. That word I did not use a thesaurus on.
Kai then acquiesces and heads back down to the second floor to look for his new TV. The next thing I can recall is leaving the R.C. Willey and remembering that I had been invited to attend an event at a local old children's hospital. When I arrive, I could see that much of my family was there, as well as my friend Travis C. That's me. And my other friend, Travis M. That's our other friend, who we've mentioned before.
Yep.
And his family. Not completely sure why I was there and why it was so dark inside for that matter. I stood conversing with those around me. Eventually, an employee of the hospital approached us and thanked us for attending the building's first premier haunted house event. He explained that we were all there to test out the haunted house and to give them feedback so that they could be ready to open to the public shortly. They told us that we each had to go through the first portion of the haunted house alone, and eventually we will all congregate in the scariest portion of the haunted house at the end. One by one, we were instructed to begin our journey through the haunted house. The beginning of the walk began in a big, wide-open corridor. In a big, wide-open corridor area.
Always assume there's another word.
It's so hard. That had a green, glowish hue caused by specialty lighting and either had lightning effects flashing through the big arched windows on the left-hand side, or perhaps it was actually storming outside. Those are the two options.
Like,
It
I
is.
didn't know if they were cool special effects or it was just legit.
It is either fake lightning or real. Either way, it adds to cool effects for the haunted house. I'm not sure which one. Anyway, as you walk down the sloped corridor toward a lower level Just don't utilize like commas or just run-on sentences. As you walk down the sloped corridor toward the lower level, several clown-looking characters on stilts would silently walk around, going here and there.
I just said walked around.
Super redundant. Isn't it implied that they're going here and there if they're walking around?
Yes, that's what I was. Yeah.
I have a thoroughness about me.
Walking around, going here and there. As I approached an area that guided me to turn and walk down another wide sloped hallway, I ran into a series of rubber bats that were hanging from the ceiling with strings. Again, as I walked down this hall, more of the stilt-walking clowns walked by. Finally, at the end of this hall, you were forced down a stairwell containing a handful of steps and had to duck down under a low threshold. Once you cleared the threshold...
Again, duck down under.
Wait, how would you say it?
I know.
Duck under.
Yeah, don't get rid of the word under, just get rid of the word down. Once you...
This is the toughest language.
I also don't want you to... I like to call you on these,
Yeah.
so just keep writing like you are. But once you cleared the threshold, you were immediately pelted in the face with a bunch of rubber and plastic spiders. Again, dangling from the ceiling on strings. I'll be honest, this whole time I wasn't really scared, but I felt an obligation to not hurt anyone's feelings and tried to act scared throughout the duration of the haunted house experience.
So thoughtful. You weren't scared, but you were just... Woo!
Yeah, you know... Oh no! Spiders and bats! Hanging.
Clowns on stilts.
Clowns on stilts walking around here and there.
Those are the worst kind of clowns.
Not here and there.
Once the entire group had reached the endpoint of the first section of the haunted house, we were all then told to get ready for the final reveal. Excited, we all waited as they opened a door and we all poured in and looked around. A bit confused, we all started walking around the area, soaking in what exactly it was we were seeing. Turns out, the scariest part of this haunted house was a mother-in-law apartment that had been decorated for Halloween. There were burning candles, cottony spider webs strung about, jack-o'-lanterns, and other various Halloween decorations. Not super impressed, Trav C chimes in with a, well, this sucks. Most everyone agreed, although I have to say the apartment itself was fairly nice. It wasn't large, but it had marble countertops, a small kitchen island, solid wood cabinets and shelving, etc. Toward the end of the open house, several of us had congregated around the kitchen island. It was at about this moment that my brother Steve walked into the kitchen and said, "Man, I just rented this apartment for my family to live in while we were Man, I just rented this apartment for my family to live in while we are transitioning between houses. But now they've made a mess of the place, and my wife is not going to be happy with the dark and scary decor." This is when I woke up. Good heavens. This is... Just see, like, that's the last thing that you remember is just...
Man.
Steve was not happy.
Well, if you would have just rented that,
They were using his apartment as a scary mother-in-law house. He just like he walks through the door and we're just all standing there and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here? What is all this Halloween decorations? It's freaking August." Ah, man, are they using this as a haunted house again? Shucks.
My wife's not going to be happy about this.
All right. As we do after every dream, we like to try and see if there is any meaning behind any of it. So we go to dreammoods.com. Just go ahead and plug in a few words there. You guys can do this yourself with your dreams. In fact, I want to point out, and excuse me, at the end of these, I like to say, go to our website and put in, maybe an end to the dream that like more to it. If you think there'd be more, how about you guys send us your own dreams?
Yep.
I'd love to read somebody else's dreams too.
That'd be cool.
So, the more the merrier. I'm going to tell you though, Danny has set the bar pretty high for really messed up dreams. Just weird dreams. And if you're able to remember as much as
That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, can anybody really
Yeah.
remember their dreams
if you're
like
going to
that?
send us a dream, send one complete. Just be like, don't be like me where I think last week, I said, like, I had a dream where I was driving a car.
And it was like a road.
There was a
that
road that you could drive
on the
upside
top
down. And that's about it. So, but anyway, so here we go on this. So high school. To dream that you have to repeat high school suggests that you are doubting your accomplishments and the goals that you have already completed. You feel that you may not be measuring up to the expectations of others. The dream may occur because some recent situations may have awakened old anxieties and insecurities. I would say that, like, if I were to dream about high school, I've dreamt that I've gone back to high school before, and yeah, those things scare me. Because it's almost like in your dream you can feel, kind of like we're in our 30s, right? You can feel that you don't belong there.
Yeah.
And you're like, get me out of here.
Which I think does prey on your like insecurities or something at some point where you're like, I feel like I've already done this.
I know, although my awake state, I'm like, yeah, send me back to high school. I would freaking rock high school right now. They're like, all right, today in history class, we're going to talk about the recession of 2008 and 2009. I'm like, boom! I freaking lived it. Yeah, I was working at a hotel then. Didn't get a lot of tips. But dream about a puzzle. I think we've also had another dream about a puzzle.
The second one
Represents a mental challenge or problem that you need to solve in your waking life. I believe that was the exact same one that we read then too. If you're being robbed, indicates that you are experiencing an identity crisis or are suffering from some sort of loss in your life. I'm interested about this one. If you dream about pee, represents feelings you have rejected. Alternatively, the dream may be a pun on your pissy attitude.
Okay. That was the alternative.
Have you ever just had a dream where you needed to pee?
Yeah.
I've had dreams like where I need to pee and I cannot find a place to go at all. But then,
Oh, I was going to say I've had dreams where I've needed to pee and then I wake up and I need to pee.
yeah, well, no, I've had dreams where I've needed to pee and I'm like, I can't find anywhere, and I'm like holding it and I'm like running around and then finally I find a spot, and then I remember specifically of like one or two times where I like go and relieve myself in my dream, and then I'm like, whoa, and I wake up and I'm like, shit. I'm like, oh, gotta go. Might have squirted a little bit. Just a little bit of piss. But haunted house signifies unfinished emotional business related to your childhood family, dead relatives, or repressed memories and feelings. Ugh.
Scary, huh?
Clowns symbolizes absurdity, lightheartedness, and a childish side to your own character, or also scary. Just scary clowns. Bats symbolize uncleanliness, demons, and annoyances. Alternatively, bats represent rebirth and unrealized potential. Oh.
So it could be good or bad.
See, that's why I don't understand these. It's like, we can't really interpret your dreams because really and truly, they all have different meanings.
It's true. It's
One
either
thing
horoscopes.
could mean
demons
could be good or
unrealized
bad.
It's like horoscopes. They just keep it general enough that
It's very
everybody
vague.
can pick stuff out and be like, oh, that's me.
Bats symbolizes. Oh wait, I just did that. Spiders. To dream that spiders are coming down on you from the ceiling indicates that you are unable to escape from some relationship. You had spiders in the last one, but you were just killing them with your lawnmower.
The giant daddy long legs.
Halloween signifies death and the underworld. Alternatively, it can reflect your childhood and the corresponding feelings that you associated with the holiday. I don't know. I mean, that one, I don't feel like you were feeling a lot there. Maybe some repressed feelings of just...
I mean, it was an overall theme, basically, of just like darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Something, here
Come
we
to meet you
go again.
Okay. Anyway, well, that is that. That is Dream-isode number 12, Haunted Mother-in-Law Apartment. Sorry, we got a little off topic there. I had some repressed memories of my own that were brought up.
This could have been a 30-minute episode.
Probably could have.
But it's 45 now. But that's cool.
You know what? You guys got a little glimpse into how my childhood was. Always being blamed for stuff I didn't freaking do. And again, yes, Mark, if you are listening to this, I didn't do it. Your children were not as great as they
Angelic.
told you they were, because they were the ones doing all the crap. And they're like, oh, let's just blame it on the blonde-headed, blue-eyed white boy that just thinks. I mean, yes, granted, I probably hung out at your guys' house way too much. But you know what? And also, just so you know, those times that, Alan and you guys were kind of fighting, I was hiding in the closet because it scared me.
We should just rename this, instead of mother-in-law apartment, just Trav Tells All.
Trav. I'm going to write a book that's called Behind the...
I didn't do it.
Behind the Closet Doors. I Didn't Do It by Travis. Chapter 1. I didn't do it. Every chapter is going to be I didn't do it, but it'll just be a different thing. So, anyway, thanks everybody for listening into this week's Dream-isode. Make sure to tune in next week for number 13. I don't remember what that one is either. So, do you, off the top of your head?
Number 13 coming up has to do with possibly bank related
A bank.
stuff.
Go back to a bank. I think half of it. I mean, I know you work there, so that's going to be probably a theme of many of these.
I don't remember
Is
what the
this the-
name is that I put on it though.
Is this the one where you go and hide in the vault?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Good one. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for listening in. Don't forget to visit our website, qcopodcast.com, and visit all of our social medias, where you can, of course, see all of our posts that we do for. If you didn't know, for our other episode, we post every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday leading up to our Friday release, so that you can know what questions we're going to be talking about this week, and then also every Monday morning when the Dream-isodes air, we'll also have a post on social media there letting you know what that Dream-isode is before you go ahead and do it, so you can kind of get an idea of what you are into or what you're in for, but not really. And then, of course, leave us a 5-star review. We love those. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. And click that bell because then it'll let you know every time one of these has arrived.
Bad boys.
These bad boys. But thanks again, guys, for listening, and we will see you next time.